What's up, dude?
Nothing, man. Just waiting for these lyrics to pop. Hold on a minute. What do you think of that, Alex?
I like it.
You like that? To my boys, man, from Long Cut.
Long Cut?
They're country dudes that rap.
Sounds like some country.
Super.
Got some country grammar.
Super
Country hip hop, man.
Super gangster. Dude, it's funny though. It's not funny. That's the wrong word. They're just awesome. They're good. And apparently, like this hip hop country, it's a thing. It's like the fastest growing new genre of music.
Country hip hop.
It's like the MMA of music, man. Mixing it up.
See, I've been loving UFC more than boxing lately.
It's great.
Hell yeah, dude.
I just love speaking of UFC, I appreciate like all these champions that are not undefeated. Like the MMA is so dynamic. Now John Jones has a loss because of a DQ. Other than that, he's undefeated. But other than him, dude, the greatest of champions have losses, man. It just goes to show you like how hard and dynamic that style of fighting is at the greatest in the world.
Well, they don't duck each other. Boxing,
That too.
They're
Can't.
boxing,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
duck each other
Yeah.
constantly.
Well,
And pad that zero.
And you promote yourself when you pick your fights versus Dana's like, hey, here's what you got.
Yeah, no, you got to fight.
Oh, you don't want to fight this? You're cool. You're just going to get rid of the belt, man. We're going to move on. Like, nobody who's bigger than the institution. You're here to fight. We're going to fight.
Well, before we get into it, guys, welcome to the Day One $0 podcast with your host, Will Grimes.
Yes, sir.
And
I always miss that
and
plug.
your co-host, Eli Schmidt here.
Yeah, man. Yeah, if you guys...
yeah, go ahead.
We're super big on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, all that stuff. We'll talk about that here in a bit, and as we talk about entrepreneur growth and what we do with that. But super fun show today. If you guys don't know who Alex Chapman is, you better figure it out.
I don't think they do.
Yeah, no big deal. Super cool dude, good friend of mine. Him and my wife are actually the reasons. My wife, Kate, she's the one that bought my real estate school behind my back. And just got it to kick, but you were the one that I was like talking with, and you're like, look, man.
I didn't know she did that.
Hey, take your test 12 times. Hey, listen, get in the fucking game, bro. Like, and he had known me for a while because Alex had history when I was at Fit Republic after being a cop, and saw the work I put in there to grow the franchises and different stuff, and have some success there. And yeah, man, I actually slept on Alex's couch for about a week prior to that pantry. And he let me, we're going to get into it, but Alex is the owner of Fitness on the Rocks. If you guys haven't heard of that, that's a huge fitness expo that goes on at Red Rocks Amphitheater. Phenomenal. Probably the best outdoor or even indoor, just best fitness expo you can find in Colorado, probably on the West Coast. Just one, primarily because of the energy that's there. Secondly, the venue is phenomenal. I mean, it's just a world-renowned venue, and he's got it on lockdown and had a great time there. So when I was getting ready to like do that, I was done with like the fitness world and all that. And Kate had just bought in that real estate school for me. And then Alex was like, hey bro, we got a couple weeks before Fitness on the Rocks.
Online?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. Same.
Videos.
Video.
Video.
PDF like you read it.
Yeah, dude.
Who
Same way.
remembers all this reading?
Yeah, dude. Well, and I had a decent background because civil law and criminal law, it's in the same book. Right, it's different sides of the table.
How many
but
times you take the test?
Once.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
one.
Yeah,
One
but
for you too?
Yeah, one. Yeah. Barely one.
I took it 6 times.
It's a hard fucking test, bro.
you zoomed, dude. You were licensed in 2 weeks or something.
Three and a half
Yeah,
weeks.
dude.
Yeah, really. No shit.
Here's how Alex learns. He signed up to go take the test,
It just keeps going.
figured out what he got wrong, and studied that. Came back.
I would go in, take the test. You click, and what's devastating, you guys don't know this, but because you didn't experience a fail, but when you click it, you see pass or fail.
Yeah.
And it just fail. All red, fail. You failed. I was like, fuck. So I'd go out into the car and I would write down in the notes which questions I thought I got wrong.
Yep.
But say the 5th or 6th time you're taking the test, now you just don't even know what questions you think you're getting right.
But you got it.
Now you're playing tricks on yourself.
Well, and it was just a law of attrition at that point. You were just on a time hack.
You're like, I'll pass you. Exactly.
So if anyone's still listening, like this is the guy I listened to get into real estate.
No shit.
He had built a huge thing with Fitness on the Rocks, and so I was done with like the fitness world, and I wasn't quite 100% committed to real estate, and hence why I was talking to Kate had been talking to me a little bit. Alex was in it in addition to Fitness on the Rocks, and I was asking questions and he's like, hey, cool man, look, while you're figuring it out, while you're thinking through it, just hey man, crash on the couch if you need to, and hey, we got a couple weeks till Fitness on the Rocks, and I got some tents, I got some spots available.
Yeah.
So you want to pick up and I'm like, yeah, bro. So I ended up making several $1,000s.
Yeah.
Telling him, he's like, bro, you selling shit? I was selling it, man, because one, it's a great venue. Two, I believed in the product, and that's my thing. If I believe in the product, I got no problem articulating. But it was real day one $0 nitty gritty phone calls, door knocking. Because I did have a decent community from the fitness world that I had met, and I just opened it up to everybody about fitness on the rocks and did some of that, and then pulled the trigger on it, and I got licensed. But between Kate just buying the online course behind my back and just I didn't have any other good ideas, and watching Alex do it, and I trusted his word a little bit. Not that Kate wasn't enough word for me, of course, but he
you want someone in it.
Well, he knew the guy that owned that fitness company, Fit Republic. Yeah. He knew Kurt, he had watched me kind of grow within it. He knew what it was before. He knew what it was when I was there and all that stuff. So he kind of saw some of my personality and me kind of like integrating with civilians.
Context there.
Is there some hustle there? Right. And I felt like there was some context with him saying, hey, man, I think you do good at real estate. That just helped me with that last little step.
Yeah. Yep.
That last little bump. And then here we go.
Well, Alex, if you wouldn't mind, dude, just give us the kind of 10,000 foot overview of just you before we kind of dive into the nitty gritty.
Man, I don't even know where to start with all that. I mean, I don't need to give my childhood background story therapy.
Oh, we're gonna get there.
But
for now,
let's start with Alex right now.
No, I'm in real estate full time, grinding away daily, 7 days a week. 12, 14, 18-hour days, whatever it takes.
Yeah.
I never thought that I would be only doing one thing. I was kind of like the serial entrepreneur for years.
You were kind of. I need you to be honest to our audience.
Well, kind of.
Motherfucker.
Yeah, I started a lot of like sub fitness companies and events.
If there's like a cereal for like definition serial entrepreneur, he's definitely Frosted Flakes or like honeycombs, like one of the best known cereals.
One thing I'll go on air saying for sure, and my wife and I talk about it all the time, Hong, and she was my ride or die business partner through the fitness from day one.
Okay.
But we kind of like when we got into the fitness game, social media wasn't shit. Like Facebook, there was no algorithm that steered you one way or another. If you posted something, your friends saw that you posted this.
How long ago was that?
2011.
Oh, Jesus, yeah. So Facebook had pretty much just become
it was
like
just the fly thing to do.
Yeah, just for the public. Like it stopped being the college thing.
Yeah, no more .edu web address, right? And I lost my gig at 24 Hour Fitness, and because of the some things I can't talk about there if they're listening now, but I took an agreement of like, okay, I'm here, but I got somewhat of a severance to leave.
Right.
And I told my wife, like, well, we have a year to do whatever we want. And so what would, if money was no object, what would we do?
Yeah.
And Kyle Gillian, you guys know Kyle?
I know Kyle. Yeah.
Badass. God, he's a stud. He's still grinding, still training people. Part owner of a Fit Republic now. Speaking of Fit Republic, love him. He was a mentor of mine in the fitness game for years. And he and I talked, and we're like, dude, we need to start fucking working people out, doing boot camps. Man. Like, but this 2011, it wasn't like you try to do a boot camp now. It's almost like going to someone with an MLM or something. You're going to do group workouts. Cool. Yeah. But then in 2011, it was like no one had really done it yet. Where it scaled it.
Right.
So we were like, and I got on Facebook. I watched that stupid fucking movie. Well, it's not stupid. I actually love it. The Social Network about Mark Zuckerberg. Yep. And I was like, and I really looked at that of like, wow, keep it free, keep it cool.
Yep.
So let's work people out for free.
Oh, shit.
Let's invite everyone, no strings attached. How big can we get this network? The money is in the people,
right?
Not in, per ticket sale or whatever you're doing, right?
Yeah.
So Kyle would program it because I didn't know shit about fitness. So Kyle was the fitness guy.
Okay.
And he would program the workout. I would invite everyone and stay up all night instant messaging 100 fucking people and try to get them to show up to the park. First workout was like 4 or 5, 6 people. We did it in the snow, Dove Valley and Aurora. Second workout was
that fitness in the city?
No,
is that how that originated?
We called it Fluent Fitness.
Okay.
And we had the tagline of I speak fluent fitness was really cool.
Oh, nice.
We do everything. And we'd host the event. We'd go and it was like we'd try to get these photos. I mean, this was no camera phones. We were on these digital cameras. Go home, plug in your SIM card, upload the photo, tag all the people when you could still tag everyone on the damn photo. And one photo with 4 people turned into very quickly one photo with 140 people.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, I'm talking quickly. This scaled, and it wasn't because we were selling anything cool other than like we were good people trying to work people out, but it was just we had this little boom box at Wash Park, and we were just training, having fun, cracking jokes, right? Yeah. And high-fiving people, hugging, like talking to people. But the work that no one saw that went into building those workouts was the day that we would host it on a Sunday or whenever it was. I would go home, upload that photo, and it was all about the photo. And still to this day, we joke about, like, did you get the photo? And now it's the thing.
Yeah.
Now it's a thing. Like, did you get the, like, even when we leave here, all I was thinking about, I got to get a photo with these guys, right?
See this right here? Make sure the camera gets that.
Yeah. So I would go home, upload the photo, and then go through and individually tag every single person on there, and then make it a point to individually DM every single person I just tagged. Yeah. Well, this was easy when it was 15 people that were coming to the workouts.
Yep.
And then it grew. So I would spend all day Sunday into the wee hours in the morning on Monday morning emailing these people, thank you, how's the knee, how's this, next time bring your sister, whatever.
Yeah.
And it got so much that the park rangers would come to the park and say, what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
Like, you can't do this.
Like,
I'm talking like the whole
but it's free.
You're taking over.
Northeast corner of Wash Park.
Yeah, you're taking over.
People would be like, what is this? Then you'd have people running around the park that would just like run in there like, what is this? You know?
Come on by.
And then it evolved to my wife's brother did a huge show at Red Rocks.
Prior to that, because you and I are very similar. By the way, like if some of this that you're listening to, Eli, because you and I talk a lot, dude, about like every time I've got a post or we're doing real estate or whatever we're doing, like I literally anybody that's liking my stuff, I go in and send them a message and I'm thank them for the support. I look at their page. I look at their page and see what they're up to, and hey man, looks like you just had a kid or got a new dog. Like, hey, great. By the way, appreciate the support. And then those turn into real conversations, and then they see my stuff in their newsfeed more because we're talking on Instant Messenger, and when a real estate need happens, we tend to get that.
Oh, man,
but a lot of my grunt style. Motherfucker, you're one of the originators.
Yeah. I gotta go.
Some of that knowledge. But some of that like some of what I talk about now.
Yeah.
In some of my grind,
that's where it comes from.
That's where it comes from. Is him, but something that you failed to not failed to mention, but I want the audience to also understand is every time a new person was in that photo, understand a friend request happened. Hey, Alex is now friends with that person because in order to tag them, we got to be friends. In order to send you a message and not go to your filters and then go to your actual normal message box, we got to be friends.
That's right.
But that network grows and grows. But it's just being deliberate with relationships and people you know in real life. Somebody is jogging in Wash Park. They want to throw in at the workout. Cool. Somebody you know in real life, get them on your social media. People on your social media, get them into real life.
Fuck,
it's twofold.
I think that's one of my biggest regrets going into all of this is
in real estate.
In real estate and in life and business, Fitness on the Rocks, like kind of the end of when that started, everything. Like when you look at all this, of course, hindsight's 20/20, blah blah. But like, if you really do go back to what brought you to a certain point of success, what was it? It's those fucking details.
Yeah,
it's those friend requests, those how you doing, like. And you go but it is exhausting. I mean, it's a maniacal, relentless grind.
Dude, even 25 messages takes you 2 hours.
Yep.
And
because you can't copy and paste them. And by
what
the way,
will it net you really other than a shit ton of conversation? And I think that's where I got lost.
That's the ingredients, bro.
As I grew, is I felt like I can't spend the time away from my kids, away from my real hustle, away from my money, having these conversations that are really at the end of the day are just conversations. Maybe they'll amount to something. I think I got lost in the translation of like monetizing it,
like trying to do the math too much.
Trying to do the math. Well,
monetizing it,
like the ROI of it, it's there. Can you measure it? No,
Right.
but it's fucking there. But something that I've tried to get really good at too is finding like an exit in those messages of, you know, like I comment and mention something that they're doing in their life and take a look at their page and they mention back and maybe I mention back and, you know, after a couple of messages, I just like, hey man, like I'm sure you're busy. I know I'm getting busy but hey, let's catch up in the future.
I know this conversation is getting lengthy. Do you want to buy yourself some real estate?
No, not even, but just, well, and here's the deal. I don't have to say it because here's the deal. We all know how algorithms work, man. Like the more people you're conversing with in your messenger box, those people will see you on their newsfeed.
Right. Correct.
I don't got to say
because of how the algorithms are now. If you're not doing that, they don't see you.
Right.
So I don't got to say if you're looking to buy or sell. What I got to do is just make sure I care about you because I do, man. Like a lot of people on there, I do care about. So hey, I care about you and I care about what you're doing. But hey, I know you're busy and I'm super busy. Let's catch back up in the future. But those messages are going to let you see what I'm doing on my normal on my normal Facebook. So if I'm consistently giving away free content or valuable content in what I'm doing to my day-to-day life, it's going to show up in your news feed. and I'm always going to be top of mind. But the hack is here. You just have to give a fuck, because those messages, it's lengthy. It takes a couple of hours, but dude, I promise you, even one message, people so appreciate it. Like, intimacy is scarce nowadays. People fucking appreciate it, man. And we've had some messages pop up where people are like, hey, it's funny you're messaging me. Like, we were just talking about selling our house, and hey, I just saw your video on this and this, and you're like, crazy. And it doesn't always happen, and you can't do those messages with an expectation. You just have to understand it, like, being a good dude always works out. Doing the right thing is always the right thing. But the reason why it's so scarce is because most people in business want to measure an ROI. And there's phenomenal shit to that.
In that.
Yep. It's easy, man.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. I
it's
think
easy.
And as we grew Fitness on the Rocks from
tickets were free to that before too.
For 3 years.
Yeah, tickets were free.
We did it for free, and Hong and I and our families ate this. And our volunteers and everyone that came together. I mean, God, man, what really put that show together.
So you got people at Wash Park first, just to go back. And as that grew, you were like, hey, we've just got to go something bigger than this.
No, you know what? I wish I could take a lot of the credit for like the big vision and big thinking, but we went to Red Rocks to do a group workout. Let's go on a field trip, whatever, right? And we were all up there. And my wife and one of the other instructors that was working with us at the time, she was awesome. They start talking big vision stuff. My wife was like, well, my brother does a show up here. Well, I wonder if we can get in here. So we go and we pitch this concept. We want to do a big workout here.
Yeah.
What can we do? And her brother was like, oh my God, he's a mogul in Colorado for EDM shows and everything. He's
a big deal.
Big deal. And so shout out to him. Oh my God, thank God for him. And so we get in, and he goes, oh, you want to do it at Red Rock? I don't know. Call it Fitness on the Rocks. I mean, I'm talking like 20 seconds into this conversation. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. And we send the concept to this like firm. Literally, it's called the firm. The graphics. They send it. They got a fucking mock up to us in like 10 minutes of like, here's the logo. Yeah. Create the Facebook page, and all of us, and a lot of work went into like getting everyone to do this and like this and be part of this.
But you had a network.
We had 90 days. So it was March. We launched this in March. We had March, April, not even all of March. So we saw April, May, June to promote this show. First time ever. It was a one of.
Yep.
We had no money, no budget. I think we had 17 grand that her brother fronted me.
Yeah.
Like straight $100 bills, like good luck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, we got this. And we put together, but we had this massive production that still nobody understands. It's a fucking global dance production.
Yeah.
Okay, so no one knew that they're working out to this $250,000
because,
sound system.
Because that venue is already there for 3 nights.
Yeah.
You're there on a morning in between the 2 nights or something, right?
Yeah,
exactly. So you have access to equipment that's going to be there anyway.
So did you piggyback on his shows?
Yep.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Because those run through the night.
Yeah.
But then people are gone by the morning.
Yep.
He starts it at like 7 a.m. I mean, we had a super early...
So you get there at like 4:30 and pick up all the leftover drugs and shit that are on the ground.
No.
And
the time that we were there at midnight.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
People had just left.
That was my first time on Adderall.
Was it?
Man, that was so nice. He's like, I just take half. And I'm like, cool, bro. And like, so it's nighttime. But like,
well, we went 3 days. We went 3 days, sleepless days.
You and I,
36 hours.
And I don't want to take any credit away from like your normal crew. Alex let me piggyback and sell some stuff to make some money because I was in between. I was getting ready to start real estate.
Sure.
I'm in the middle here, driving my $140,000 super car.
This is 9th season.
Yeah, exactly. So like, I'm not one of the pioneers or anything. He let me come in, to just make some money and sell. But I wanted to put the elbow grease in to help him with stuff because I was appreciative.
Yeah.
And so I went the night prior. Well, we had been up for like 3 days, just selling shit, organizing shit, putting stuff in your garage, and that was a taste of what a lot of people do for him. So I don't want to come off like I'm the dude. I'm definitely not. I was a guest, and but yeah, that night, man, like I take half an Adderall pill, and I was losing my goddamn mind up there, like doing everything.
We went through and from 2011 to 2017, and we really did pioneer like the way group fitness was looked at. We launched a shit ton of careers, fitness careers, Zumba, a bunch of fitness trainers that we
because a lot of these startups, man, he was giving them the
followers. Yeah, we just
to be specific, man. Like a lot of how fitness, if you guys are listening and you're not familiar with Fitness on the Rocks, it's a huge venue at Red Rocks Amphitheater. But obviously, so you've got some expo part where there's tents and all these fitness companies giving you free samples and shit. Cool.
Yeah.
But then you have the stage. And like every hour on the hour all day, you had somebody on stage giving their workout. So Zumba and any other startups that he can speak to, he was letting them have the stage to do their workout. And then people would fill the audience in Red Rocks and then do the workout on stage.
And they'd have cameras and shit, right? So you could see on the projector.
We had such a cool production.
Imagine all the editing that can come from all the production that comes from that. And then you got 10,000 people in the crowd that are just doing your workout.
Yeah, we helped launch some cool stuff. And you know, it was, I mean, no money was made. I mean, people thought that we were running away with millions of dollars. And what they didn't realize is like this show would collapse, right? It would be done. We'd break everything down, go home. We'd wake up in the morning, broke.
Yep. Damn.
But our hearts were full.
Yeah.
And my inbox was full.
Yeah.
And our network was full. And so we were still rich. We just didn't have the coin. And I was like, okay, you know, sooner or later, I'm going to have to turn this into a profitable business. So 3 years in, I was like, okay, we have to change. And so the city actually was the one that was like, you need to sell fucking tickets to this. Man, what are you doing? You got 13,000 people here. What are you doing?
Yeah.
So then we put
13,000.
Yep. So and we put a ticket price on it. We lost 60% of our engagement, which to me, I went from being optimistic and feeling fantastic to almost like this, like, fuck
like
you.
Pissed. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I'm only charging you $28 to come here.
Yep.
And the work
you're
that goes
still
into
getting
this,
free, because remember the expo, you have a ton of companies that want to put tents up and sell their shit there, or give you, or by selling the shit as in like giving you free samples and all and contests. I mean, like a ton of cool stuff.
Yep.
A ton of cool free stuff that you still get there.
Oh man. And it's an all day festival. I would venture to say it's probably the most beautiful group of people you'll ever see in your life, both male and female.
Yeah.
It's a gorgeous event, you know, and there's nothing like it.
Nope.
So for us to throw a very affordable ticket price on this, and for the engagement to literally drop 60, I mean, we had 40% of the engagement we had the year prior.
That's crazy.
So I still had to comp. Thank God to all the people, if you're watching any of this, thank God for you for buying the tickets, but I still had to comp 60% of the show.
Yeah.
Just to get them there. You remember, we were fucking giving away tickets like Skittle. Go ahead, you got to come,
Yeah.
And so I was a little jaded that year because there was no value on what we were doing in a monetary sense. We couldn't profitize the show with tickets. Okay, so then maybe we need to find a big sponsor.
Yeah.
So we found some big partners, whatever else, and we fast forward through all of that. Yep, we fast forward through all of this. It was a fantastic journey, changed a ton of lives. That was the goal. We get to sort of this last year when I got into real estate. I got into real estate because I figured I always needed another gig because Fitness on the Rocks didn't pay me shit.
Got to make fucking money, man.
Yeah, and I had 2 kids. I did all this as like, you know, shit, I went 2 years sometimes without insurance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the family.
And I'm here doing workouts, jumping off of shit.
Who you looking at?
Kids,
if it wasn't for the VA, not sure how much I want to go there. If it wasn't for the VA, I'd be saying the same thing to you guys. Yeah.
So, you know, taking huge risks. And then I'm like, okay, and so we opened Fitness in the City. We did the OMG Fitness concert. We did a lot of cool things. We don't need to get into all that, but
So Fitness in the City was a gym.
Yep, still is. They have 2 locations.
Right. So just for our listeners that might not know what Fitness in the City is. So cool. So you had that network.
Yep.
You decide, hey, we're going to open a gym. Started running it. You got some revenue from there.
Yeah,
right?
It was okay. It was hard to break from what we were, though. I still ran it. They run it like a business now. It was taken over by some really good friends, and Stefan and Eric, and they do a fantastic job running the gym. But you know, I walked away from that end of 2014, early 2015. But it was a really cool concept, and we did it initially at the City Hall events venue.
Dope spot,
nightclub.
Right. Dope spot.
Oh, open air venue. There was nothing like it. I mean, the videos, if you watch the videos, you're like, man, these guys were onto something.
Yeah.
And we were so humble, we just didn't realize, like, honestly, when I look back at it now and I'm like, fuck, man, we didn't know how cool we were. We were really cool, you know? And we started a bunch of really cool trends, and we launched a lot of careers, like I said, and fast forward to, I got into real estate because I needed to subsidize income. And I was like, oh, I can shit, I can get 10, 15 grand a pop on these
Sell
deals.
a few homes, yeah.
So I only need to, so I'm not greedy. I need maybe half a dozen homes a year.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, so I just started.
Yeah. And I was in need of half a dozen homes a year. They'll come via referral, I'm sure.
Yeah.
You know, and so I kind of got on the real estate train, and you know, I went through iHomes. I started at iHomes Colorado, phenomenal training company, and I left there because and a lot of it was because Justin Martin, when we had our kind of like ending conversation, he was the one that was like, dude, go all in on Fitness on the Rocks. Fuck it. And I'm like, you know, if I'm gonna give it, I'll give it one more year.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna give it this last year. The
Famous
same
words to a lot of last men standing.
Yeah. I'm gonna just get one more. We're gonna rob one more bank.
Yeah,
that's all we need. You know, and so I left and did the same hustle. That's the year we went hard together.
Yep.
Same hustle that I was gonna do in year one. The whole day one $0. If I give it that mentality, there's no way I fail.
Right.
There's no fucking way. You just can't. It's impossible. We've got a great product. We've got an established brand. We've got an amazing team.
It was like 10-year anniversary, wasn't it?
It was a 9-year.
9-year.
We never made it to the 10. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to go hard. I'm going to delegate. I was horrible at delegation. I wanted to do everything myself.
Yeah. Hence why he introduced me to Adderall.
Yeah. And so
shout out to Hong, by the way, for putting up with me on Adderall that morning.
They're about to say
We're not even going to dive into it. No, shout out to Hong.
Shout out to all those doctors prescribing
I was
us
doing
legal drugs.
14 different things that fucking morning. Shout out to Hong. Super patient, amazing
she's
chick.
a boss lady. And so, you know, I go and I give it everything I've got. My wife gives it everything she's got. Yep. We had a bigger budget than we'd ever had. And we got to the top of the mountain and we're standing there and we were like, shit, this is it. So it's like climbing Everest, and when you get up there,
it's not
what you thought.
Nope.
On top of not what you thought, you got to come back down too.
And you got to go all the way back down.
Yeah.
And that was hard. And so the realization, I think the growth was that when I finally made it to the top of that mountain, I realized you can't take this to other markets because Red Rocks is only one venue.
Yep.
So can't really take Fitness on the Rocks anywhere else maybe. So I looked all over nationally at other venues. Can't happen. We just sold out the show. Didn't make any money. In fact, we lost 56 G's. We lost money. You know, and so we went through everything. A woman had a heart attack.
Damn.
Yeah, I remember.
You know, all this. I mean, it was kind of like this. You know, I don't know if you guys believe in like the universe and signs and numbers and all this shit, but it's real.
Yeah.
And to me, I was like, give me every sign I need to know whether I need to keep pushing this forward or I need to give it up.
Yeah.
And I don't even like that phrase, like, if am I giving up or whatever. And there was a lot of pride involved in that. But it was like, is this hurting my family? Is this hurting my future, my business? What do I need to do? And I think for a lot of entrepreneurs need to hear this is like,
take the emotion out of it.
When
and
you
just look at it for what it is.
your bottom line for real, you need to make a decision whether or not this is serving you emotionally anymore? Is it fulfilling you emotionally, financially, and is it still providing value and service and changing people's lives? Okay, so there was a lot of those buttons it was still hitting, but it wasn't serving me emotionally or financially anymore.
Right. And I think it's super important, like as we're talking about this right here, I think it's super important for people to understand how much work and effort and dedication it takes to get to the top of that mountain.
Yeah.
But then once you get to the top of that mountain, you got to see it for what it is and make a decision.
Yeah. Yep. You got to be honest.
But there's a lot of bliss and a lot of success that comes from, hey, I can let that go. I've turned that stone.
Yeah.
I know it is or it isn't what I need it to be. And now when I go to look to turn another stone, I have no what ifs.
Man, that's
because if you'd have turned that stone and walked away year 2, who fucking knows?
Yep.
And I try to talk to people all the time about not shooting a rifle until boot camp and not knowing how to swim, and how much effort went into just learning how to get swim call 4, which is, by the way, nothing. And a war was going on when I was in boot camp. I probably wasn't even swim call 4. They're like, yeah, fuck it, we're going to the desert. Give them a swim call 4. We need you in the fight. But then I got super neurotic and extremely obsessive behind weapons, and I got real fucking good at them. And that was the first time I ever put an obsessive amount of effort into something, and I go, oh, you can try real hard. Oh, okay. But that's a barometer to this day, because I know a level of effort before I turn a stone or before I walk away from something.
Yep.
I know I'm at peace if I walk away from something because I know how much has to go into it before you fucking walk away from it. And I think what we're talking about 9 fucking years of event and staff and insurance and marketing and physical application while you're there, and a lot of like lives and friends and volunteers to be able to walk away. But I want people to understand how much effort went into it before this dude right here was satisfied with going a different direction.
Well, you made every sense of the word, man. I mean, 13,000 people you're having come to these workouts and shit. And then, and that's the important part, man, is, you know, you see all this talk. And
dude, it was beyond a workout at that point. It was an entire event. Dude.
Yeah. You see all this talk about, you know, in motivational posts and whatnot about making it and all this shit. And
Fuck
it's like,
you.
Man, you guys made it in every sense of the word and still weren't profitable still, and just had to like.
It's devastating.
Yeah, I bet, man.
It's devastating. And, you know, so here's another caveat. And so I was kind of like wondering, what do we do, right? I'm like, okay, I'm in a little bit of debt. I owe some money to this. Got to settle on this. Shit, we can't even pay our water company.
Go to Mexico.
Okay, you know, and so I had a step great grandmother who just passed away. She was 104. She's a total unicorn, multi-millionaire, and total philanthropist, beautiful person. She loaned me $25,000.
Wow.
For the show.
Okay.
And with serious expectation that I pay her back the minute the show was done, right? I mean, she's even at 100 years old was like, give me my money.
Yeah.
Bitch, better have my money.
You know? And so we go to Utah, beautiful lake house. I have pictures of it every summer I go.
Yep.
It's her estate, everything. And we've been lucky enough to go take our family there every year. So I show up and I hand her the check and she snatched it from me, 100 years old. Okay, she snatched the check like she's been snatching checks for 100 years.
Like a gangster on the corner, bro.
She snatched the check. She folded it up, put it in her jacket pocket. Like,
damn.
She was like, "Was it profitable?"
Yeah.
And I said,
"Cold-blooded, dude. Cold-blooded."
And two things happened. One, like her caretaker / like butler said, "Don't put that in your pocket. You're gonna forget it." And I was like, "No, let her put it in her pocket if she's gonna forget it." And then he said, you know, he took it out, and then she goes, so it wasn't profitable. And she said, honey, sit down. She said, let me tell you something. She said, you can never put that much effort, energy, and time into something and not turn a profit. And if it does not turn a profit, this is when you should throw in the flag.
Yeah.
You've given it everything that you've got, and it's not, you need to turn it in, and you need to hold your head high.
Yeah.
So
and let's be real. It was successful.
Yeah,
it was not profitable.
Extremely successful.
Let's
on
please,
video and on
please
on
understand.
Video, you want to look at like the YouTube clips and
and not even just that, but just influence on how it changed people's life and just different stuff.
This shit is crazy.
Yeah.
Super successful. Just not profitable.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's important for listeners to really dive in and just understand the difference. But at the same time, you have to be successful as far as financially and as far as business and providing for your family, man.
When you, if you're not 21, now if you're 21, 22 going through the successful, not profitable, grind away.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah.
When you're 34, 2 kids, shit's starting to creep in and you're starting to think of like schools and you got to move and retirement is coming in 15, 20 years.
You're giving me anxiety right now.
You got to start checking yourself at the door and coming up with some realistic planning and expectations. And so it was really hearing her, this 100-year-old entrepreneur, philanthropist,
but she knows time,
multi-millionaire.
Yeah.
So if you're in the presence of a unicorn like this, fucking listen up.
Who also knows time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because she ain't got much left.
No, lots of time. And
is she still around?
No, she just passed away during quarantine in March.
Wow.
And she knew she was going to pass away.
Really?
Called her family, got a ride to the hospital, laid down. Let everyone know.
Went to sleep.
Told everyone she's dying with a full heart, with no regrets. Closed her eyes and fucking drifted off into the universe.
That's cool.
awesome.
That's cool, man.
That's a real. So if you're ever lucky enough to be in the presence of a human being like that, listen up.
Yeah.
So she was really the final straw. For any one of my friends or family that I haven't had a chance to tell the story to that have wondered what the fuck happened to Fitness on the Rocks, blah, blah.
Yeah.
That's what happened. We were making no money. And she inspired me to accept that I wasn't a failure, that it just needed to be part of the story.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was a massive chapter. I mean, several chapters, 9 of them.
Yeah.
And so when I closed the book, I closed it there.
What date did you close it?
This was end of July. 20,
last year.
End of July, early August 2017.
2017, okay.
Yep.
And right then I go, okay. And a few days later, we went on the boat, did some paddle boarding, all the shit, hung out with the family. And I get on the phone with Chris, my business partner now, some other people that I still do business with in real estate. And I was no longer at iHomes. And I'm like, I wonder if I can make this a fucking go, you know? Like, I just closed 2 deals in my sleep, made like 30 grand or whatever. And I'm like, I should go all in on this and just see.
And you had a parameter of all in because of how much effort you put into Fitness on the Rocks. You started thinking like, I wonder if I put my work and grit and network and professionalism into this, what would that look like?
So, and that's exactly what happened. And so I came back to Denver. And I was like, I'm going to go hard on this. Man, I paid off all my Fitness on the Rocks debt in like 60 days. Pop, pop, done. And I'm like, at least you feel better. So money doesn't always make you happy, but winning definitely solves shit.
Yes, listen, man. Let's use that as a point too. Like, money doesn't make you happy. Like, I've never heard a rich guy say that though.
No, it solves some serious problems.
And I don't want to sound stuck up, or you guys find out I'm like super rich, because I am. I'm just fucking loaded, right? Like, I don't want you getting the wrong idea. I understand, like, hey, money by itself doesn't make you happy. I understand, but money allows you to have options, and the grind and being financially secure to pay off some debt. Paying off debt. Let me describe to you what that feels like. Yeah. Especially if you've ever like done jujitsu, or like when you're boxing. When you're boxing and you're out of breath, but the round's not over, and you're stuck in the corner and the guy's beating on you, paying off your debt is like that guy having to back off. Or when you're doing jujitsu and you're going against a 248-pound dude laying on your chest, and he gets off your chest for a minute and lets you breathe. Paying off debt lets you go, and it just lets you pause and just get reestablished and redialed and go, okay, I'm okay. I'm okay.
Yeah,
I'm okay.
Right? Breathe. Like, you're just coming up for a little bit of air.
I'm okay.
Because you're going to assume some more debt.
The grind isn't over.
No, you're going to acquire some more debt.
But I'm okay. And it just allows you to have some options, and allows you to just take some time to compartmentalize and then have some dialed decisions on where you're going to make your next move. Versus when you don't know how to tread water, you are flapping all over the goddamn place. But if somebody just goes, hey, relax. Okay, hey, move your feet like this. Okay. Oh, hey, keep a little bit of air in your lungs. That's how you float, bitch. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hey, move your arms. But they're still holding you while that's paying off debt. And they're, dude. And I just can't stand when people are taboo about money. Oh, money doesn't make you happy. Like, hey, dude, I don't need your goddamn negativity. Listen to me. I know what it is and isn't. And I promise you, paying off some of my debt, I'm definitely not on my period on that day. I fucking promise you that.
Yeah. Well, and not having money definitely don't fucking make you happy. So I'll err on the side of having money and potentially not being happy than being broke as shit.
Bro, being rich, hard. Being broke, hard. Just pick your hard, right? Whoever said that. But back to the story, though, right? So you started paying off some of that debt.
So paid off some debt right away.
And for context on the show, not to cut you off, day one, $0, right? Like, you definitely had one at Wash Park. Right. And then, but now, and this is
I've had several.
You've had, but the one we're in right now is like, hey, I'm letting go of something I built for 9 years. And it reminds me of when I let go of like, I'm this Marine, I'm this government guy, I'm this cop. And then I helped build a fitness company, and I had an opportunity to be number 2. And then I'm jumping off, and I don't have no idea who I am. I'm in a pantry. I'm Betty Crocker, bitch. Right? Like, it's fucking scary, dude. Fucking scary. So you're like walking away from that after 9 years, and you're like, okay, like that's not making me money. I'm no longer with 24-hour fitness. I'm no longer with fitness. You know, I'm letting go of Fitness on the Rocks. Like, whew, right? Like, that is literal. Deep. I'm at day one and $0 of real estate. Right?
Well, I took a photo. And I forgot I took the photo. I took a photo, and I think I screenshot it to send to my wife. But I was going through, you know, you ever go through your phone and just look at a bunch of photos and shit, you know? And I see this photo of a computer screen, like of my Wells Fargo account at the time. And I had $436.
He had -7.
I think it was like -37 cents.
Oh my God.
I did.
And so, and I had serious fucking bills coming. Okay. So it really wasn't $436. That's what it was that minute.
But I was like, about to be going.
I was like, how are we going to do this? Right. And so those kind of moments, like, I feel bad. I actually feel bad for the young kids whose parents, even me spoiling my kids. I feel bad for the people who don't know what that feels like, that helpless, almost like just distress, like, oh God, I'm gonna have to rob a bank. I gotta rob someone. Like, you know, you think about that.
Well, you had a network, you know me.
So you
a little bit of energy drink and something else, a little cocktail.
Yeah,
we might have done it.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like you really need to feel that. I feel in life.
Here, let's put some emphasis on that too, because this is really important. This is someone that's made it. This is someone that's successful. This is someone that has a nice car and a family and all this shit. And you got $400 in the bank account. Fucked.
No, I could have taken an Instagram video of me that day in front of my office, been like, out here grinding,
dude,
and nobody would have known what you're feeling.
I also want to make note of this, right? And I don't want to get too deep into it with like the fitness community or the 24-hour fitnesses. He has $400 in his bank, right? I'm going to speak for you for a minute. I promise you, there were some corporate jobs Alex could have taken.
Oh yeah.
There were some fitness organizations that maybe he could have tried to sell Fitness on the Rocks, even though it didn't show much. Maybe somebody just wanted to buy the theme. Okay. But there was even minus that, just his success in the gym community, and then with Fitness on the Rocks, there were some corporate jobs where he could go have a boss and work for the man and make significant money right away to get his family out of the hole that he's about to describe right now. And it was his decision not to, like. So not to like speak for you, but I think the context of like what you could have done is important.
Oh yeah,
knowing that you still faced the fire and stayed the course to this.
That's
when
a good
you had,
point.
because some people just have no options, right? Like, no, dude, you could have probably made several $100,000 in the fitness community after all of that versus deciding you want to go with this drip, right?
Well, yeah, I could have gone back to what I knew. You know, I could have gone to a Lifetime Fitness and been like, hey, man, put me as your sales manager. Let's grind, sell memberships.
Yeah.
You know, and what I saw in real estate was for salespeople, for all the salespeople out there, you know, own it. If you're a salesperson and you're really good at being a salesperson, maybe you don't need to be an entrepreneur. Maybe you don't need to own 6 businesses and do all the cool shit that you guys do. Not everyone has the capacity to do that.
Right.
But if you have the capacity to go and focus on each transaction and each client, and the margins are so significant that you can make a living, a really good living. Shit, you might even become a multimillionaire.
In real estate.
In real estate.
And you don't have to own the brokerage.
And you don't need to own the brokerage.
You can be a lone ranger, running and
Yeah.
gunning, building a little brand around yourself and being very transactionally
What do you guys
focused.
do if someone needs to pee down here?
You go pee and we keep talking
And
shit
you guys
about
keep talking?
Yeah.
I'm going to go so I can
buddy.
talk comfortably.
Absolutely. We got a bucket around the corner if you want.
I'll be there after you, man.
Hold on a minute. Depending on how much money we can make off of people seeing your penis, maybe we'll make you piss on air.
Jesus.
Yeah, man. What an interesting dude. We'll let Alex talk for himself.
Yeah, that's crazy about Fitness on the Rocks, man, because I didn't really know Alex that much, but I knew Fitness on the Rocks, and I saw that for years, just being in the fitness community.
Well, I'm glad he's talking about like his wife, you know, that like really helps the grind behind that, because a lot of people don't necessarily, you know, get to hear or see behind the scenes. And for the short time I was just helping, and again, I wasn't a part of it. I wasn't a full-time person. He was doing me a favor, going, hey dude, I know you're in the interim, and I wonder if he was letting me do that because he was also, the same time, we just hadn't talked about it, he was in the interim. He had just gotten, or had been licensed for a little bit, but hadn't committed to it.
Sure.
And we were talking about iHomes and some different things and what he had been doing. But a lot of what he's exposing today about like some of his thoughts were simultaneous to when I was helping him. And I wonder if he was like, hey man, come sell for me and make some money just to get you by for now. Until you figured out. Huge blessing, man. And obviously I thought it was a great product, and I had a good network from being in the fitness community where I could talk to the significant companies of the world and be professional enough to invite them and charge a certain price and make a little commission off of that. But you know, like his wife and all the volunteers and people that were behind that, I was fortunate enough to just see behind the scenes all the labor work that goes behind it. And no, man, it was not some fancy crew that was doing it. It was Alex, his wife, and a ton of their friends who were volunteers, who like year in and year out volunteered to go organize and set up, because all these tents and companies that were coming had to get organized like 4 in the morning before it started. And a lot of people backed that, man. They had a lot of hard work.
Just thinking about the years and years and years you can put into that.
Oh, dude.
And still keep going.
I saw it for one. Yep. So we had a high bidder of $1.50 if you pee on air. What? If you show your penis on, if you pee, our highest bidder was $1.50.
That's it.
That's it. I'm joking, though. But I need a bag of Doritos for lunch, so
I'm gonna pass this over to you.
Yeah. Why?
I gotta go, bro.
Oh, you gotta pee?
Yeah, I gotta go.
Hold on. What am I doing
bad.
here?
We all drank an energy drink before we got started, so.
Okay. We should have done something else. That would have kept us
We should have
from
just peed before we started.
I did. Hence why I'm the only motherfucker
You're the only
sitting.
one not
So for
peeing.
anybody that's watching, I'm definitely the smartest, most dialed, organized dude that's in this. But no. So but getting back to it, like deciding, hey, I'm not going to go back to corporate. I'm not going to make that immediate money.
I'll never go back.
Ooh. Okay. So explain that.
I'm too far out in the abyss. And so one thing I think that and I need to get more active on social media. I used to be, and I think the reason that I'm not is because I'm so tired of the quotes. Just wake up, do this, grind, do this, manifest, blah, blah, blah.
I don't think you're tired of the quotes. I think you're tired of who's pushing it.
Maybe. And the people that aren't really living this, or I see that it's hard for me. So I'm kind of taken away from this. I'm just kind of getting out of the whole, like, let me talk about all this stuff you're doing and just go do it. Yeah. And manifestation is a real thing. Yeah. It is a real thing that it took me a long time to truly believe.
Okay.
Because it was like, you would hear all of, some of the bigger influencers for me, like the Jim Carreys, Denzel Washington, The Rock. I have I'm a movie buff, so I have a lot of actors that I follow and pay attention to.
But let's be real, all those guys are brands. Like
They're
The Rock,
amazing.
He's a brand that happens to go to movies.
Exactly. And Jim Carrey was somebody who I followed from, like, in Living Color.
Oh, hell yeah.
Old school.
Fire Marshal Bill.
Tell you something.
He worked his ass off.
Yeah.
Yes, he was a creative genius, blah, 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 blah.
Yep.
But he manifested this. He was sleeping in his car and shit. And you hear these stories all the time.
Yeah.
And so you can't just, manifestation's phony if you think you can just fucking, like, lay there and dream up money or whatever, and then it's going to come to you when you're playing fucking video games.
Sure.
It's not going to happen. You need to, if you really start to think, and I struggle, I go back and forth because sometimes I think I have it, and then I lose it. You have it, and you lose it. But if you really do hyper focus on something, it could be Spanish, it could be anything. Your mind is so powerful.
How do you approach all that?
Looking
back now, or not even just from the past, but like looking into it, like right now with how you approach it, like what does that look like for you?
You have to eliminate, and I'm going through this process now where I'm having to reset again. And not in a bad way of like, oh God, I'm broke. My problems have changed. And so you have to figure out what in your life is distracting you. It could be building a real estate team. That could be distracting you.
Yep. Was for us.
It is for me.
So we let ours go. We built a top 0.5% team and
I do know. I go watch
and
you
by
guys.
Not fired. We just dismantled the team, but it really got into, like, after we had done it for so long, for a little while, and then we had built it so successful with our model, successful to top 1%, top 0.5% with Berkshire Hathaway worldwide. We had to take a step back and go, hey, is this taking away from our brand?
Warren Buffett's Berkshire, right?
Yeah.
Yep, that's ours.
Yeah.
Yep. Hey, is this taking away from our brand? Is this taking away from other stuff that we could build? And is it taking away from where we could have influence? What we started realizing is, in order to run a successful team at that level, you need to want to do that as
it's got to be your passion.
That's it. It's just that. It's not right. And now we were meeting people. We were meeting our agents 2-3 times a week, one-on-one accountability meetings. Team meetings every Friday, and then every other week on a Wednesday we were teaching a class, and it was and then I'm not even talking about the phone calls that would come in. Now here's the deal.
I was watching you guys. I was like, how the fuck are they selling houses?
Yeah,
we were selling. Him and I were still doing our own deals.
Yep.
Fuck yeah, we were. Yep. Right. Like, here's my deal as a leader. I'm gonna beat the shit out of you every month, even though I'm teaching you. Even though I'm giving you all of my time, I'm still going to beat the shit out of you. So when it bothers you, secondly, every time.
You mean sales, like revenue wise?
Yeah. And
yeah, you can't lose.
So our team collectively did more than him and I. I don't want to be 90% of my team.
No.
8 people should do more than 2, especially if we're your leaders. But no individual was beating, right? So, but my big thing was, hey, if I'm your leader, there's a lot of intangibles that's going to make you listen to me. me beating the shit out of you every month is going to make you listen to me. On top
you can't lead if you're not winning.
You just can't, right? Well, at some point you can when you're at scale, but in those moments,
but you
in
have
the
had to
trenches,
have won so long and so consistently that you've retired to just
by
leading.
choice, right?
The problem is most real estate team leaders aren't.
They don't,
and they never have either. Yeah,
but with us, it was like the phone calls that we took from them, the accountability meetings, the team meetings, the teaching the classes, the questions to help, and I'm okay that they called us. That's what we're there for.
Yep.
But you start learning that model and you go, hey, this has very quickly become super successful. This has very quickly become our sole reason for being. If there's anything else we want to go accomplish, we don't have enough time. Like, not the energy. I got energy for days. We don't have enough time. So we had to also look at, hey, and you start looking at profitability, and it was like, man, if we didn't have a team, what does that look like? Could you and I just continue to do our own deals? But how much more free time would we have to go, and that's when we started building Mile High Property Brothers. We're doing our YouTube channel now. The podcast is taken off. We're having guests on that. I'm a Spartan 7 instructor. We were talking about that prior to the podcast. We'll get into that. Some opportunities with Joshua Smith are popping up. We had time to go network and build relationships again. We were back to running and gunning. It's like we had done that, and it's like, so when you mention like, hey, is continuing to run a team, could that be holding me back? In some aspects, yes.
Yeah.
It could be, because ultimately it's time.
Right.
It's time.
And even so, for me lately, so have you guys watched these fucking shows on Netflix, The Selling Sunset, $1 Million Beach Home, or any of these $1 million listing New York?
No,
any of them?
$1 million listing, yeah.
So, when you look at that stuff, not to discredit anyone slinging houses in the Hamptons, you're crushing it.
Yeah.
Yep.
But when I look at that, you have to look at it as like, we're all confident guys. We sit here, I could do that.
Yeah.
Why aren't I doing?
Here's my question.
So
with
it's
that.
also focusing on. So now I think where my career has gone is like the team thing. I know I don't want.
Yep. You've tried it.
I know I don't want it. I know I've accepted it, and so I think the growth of like an entrepreneur, it's easier now for me to go, yeah, I don't want that.
Yeah, you know yourself.
And
more.
you're not like tossing and turning it in bed. You just go.
You've dated the crazy bitch before.
Yeah.
You know the signs. You're like, hey, nope, I'm not going down that road.
Yeah.
Well, and just
I don't want that.
and there's just a lot of trust behind knowing like how much work you've put behind a team or behind certain things. When you go, hey, like, and I love when something. It's not that it didn't work out. It worked. I'm just choosing to change it up now.
Sure.
I'm choosing to turn a chapter, and if I hadn't gone through this, I wouldn't be at the place I am now.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a stepping stone. And there's a lot of peace with that versus just having to continue to grind that. And I wonder too, like those people, not selling Sirhan, I'm sure he does phenomenal, but some of these other shows, because I'm watching some of those brokers too, and you're like, and I wonder if they're not making the full commissions, but if they're getting like a flat rate from the production team, and then people that are selling those that want maybe some clout or their house to be on that show, it's like, hey, you're not making 3% on that sell. You're gonna make stuff from the actual network that's putting on this show, and then these people are getting a super low flat rate and some clout to sell their homes on this network.
Yep.
I wonder.
There's definitely,
because some of them, dude, some of you look at, there's like no fucking way
behind the curtain. There's deals.
You're a Bobo the Clown.
Yeah.
No fucking way. Some guy with $50 million home is talking your.
But I can't watch something like that before I go to bed. No. I don't sleep. I won't sleep. I'll be up all night. And so what I've also realized, like in Denver, the luxury space in Denver is very small. We're not LA.
No.
We're not New York. Right? We're not even Florida. I mean, there's some spots in Florida you're just like, whoa, And so
even 2 million is like,
well, and the thing is, because of like the demographic with Colorado, you've got a lot of mountains.
Yeah.
So you've got like Aspen and some places, but Aspen and then any other place that's super high dollar, it's not like it's down I-5.
It's
Navigating through the Rocky Mountains is not a straight shot up some north-south highway. A north-south highway is away from the mountains called I-25. And then you got Cherry Creek North, you got Cherry Hills, but our high dollar stuff, it's so segregated. There's just utopias out there in Denver. It's not like you can just, it's not LA. It's not as convenient.
It's there for the fucking taking.
But it's there. Right.
Yep.
And so I think everyone's trying to figure out the formula to do it, right? To be in luxury space. And I don't think that that's like the answer of like, oh, we're just going to do luxury. But really right now I'm just trying to kind of part the distractions. So I'm in that part of my career now where it's like, look, I know how to sell real estate. I can sell a multi-million-dollar penthouse.
Yep.
I can sell a farm.
Yep.
I can sell a building. I can sell a first-time home buyer and a condo in North Aurora, 1 bedroom for $200K, and deal with the craziness that comes along with their loan and getting someone that first time into a house, which is very rewarding.
Oh yeah.
And then I know what it's like to deal with your executive assistant that your seller or buyer doesn't even talk to you. You're dealing with somebody on here, and you're dealing with an attorney and everything. I know what it's like to be sued. I know what it's like to lose. I know every in and out of real estate. And so now I'm kind of I've spread out the pieces on the board, and I'm hitting the reset button again. And we merged with Compass, which is a fantastic brokerage. Who knows what happens with their company? I think my fear with a brokerage like Compass, and I've said this to them as well, is what happens when the old gray hairs take over.
Yeah. Yep.
That have never sold a home.
Because right now it's young and hip and cool, but
what happens when the board? What happens when the board and the shareholders take over for real?
This is why I love when you and I get together, man. Because like whether we've done business together, and I was talking to him about just like how it's so fun. Just selfishly, it's fun for me to hear some of this because I never knew that a lot of these thoughts you're sharing today was simultaneous to when I was helping you with Fitness on the Rocks. I remember you had just been licensed, but you weren't like quite committed yet. You were going through some of that. And I was like, man, I wonder if that's why
I was searching.
But I was like, man, I wonder if that's why he just let me like, hey, dude, you want to come sell? Cool. I can't pay you, but if you can go sell these booths.
It's also game recognizing game and knowing what you've done and what you were capable of. And also, in hindsight there, talking about 2020, like, you think, God, what if I would have met Will a few years before that? And I could have just said, you are my sales guy, because I dealt with all the fucking sponsorships. That was a job. That's a whole job.
Dude, I could have done
60,
that, right.
70 booths. So it's like having 60 or 70 DJs with 60 or 70 entourages showing up to your fucking
And the problem
concert.
is you got to have a salesman that can sell, but is also professional enough to handle
all their bullshit.
You
said my tent was going to be on the west corner of the, and you said, here, let me tell you, here, take some coupons.
Or just that mistake doesn't happen.
Here's some Cliff Bars for all your friends.
Or whatever. But like it could have, or like it could have been like instead of that, like maybe there's just something bigger in the future, and like that was just a splash. And then me coming out here and proving myself within real estate, where it's like professional. This is deep water to be successful. It's showing some of that, but it's just interesting to hear some of that. And I love how you're focused, because like we're so the same, but we're slightly different. And I love how you're like, man, like what happens when like the old guys take over? And I'm like, man, I'm so glad you're looking that way, because you know which way I was looking at for Compass? The other way. The average realtor does 3 to 5 deals per year, and that number is only that number because you got guys doing 100 and a lot of people doing fucking 0. So the average comes out to 3 to 5. Compass, super fancy, love it, because we looked at it as well. I got no qualms.
You guys just went to EXP.
Right. Yeah. I got no qualms with what Compass is doing. So, hey, let the record show that, right? Like, everybody just has a preference. But and you know what? This is just straight across with any brokerage, but like, hey, Compass, new, refresh, modern, a lot of things. They're giving out some bonuses or marketing dollars where it's not like cash for you, but they'll help you market your stuff. But I was watching every average donkey get excited and go over there. So while you're looking at executives, that's great, because like while you're looking that way, it's almost like a guy like me has got your 6 looking the other way at, hey, I wonder when this place gets fucking watered down and it's white bread.
Well, when do they all become membership counselors at 24 Hour Fitness?
Exactly.
Yeah. So I see a 24 Hour Fitness.
Same pattern.
I see a 24 Hour Fitness model when 24 Hour Fitness was first becoming big company. Shit, as a sales guy, if you were successful, you're making 6 figures. As a fucking slanging memberships. Walk in, guests in the lobby.
You're selling fitness with that and the membership, and you're crushing.
And you're working 6-7 days.
Yeah, and
your
name is Seth Daniels, and you're a fucking monster.
He's a gangster.
And they fucking write doctrine around you now. You broke the system.
And look where they are now. They're filing bankruptcy. They're closing locations left and right.
It's what
Lifetime Fitness isn't. They still take care of their people, still pay their people. And so I'm curious and this was my conversation even with their executive team when we came on, I'm curious what decision they're going to make when they do have all this market share and they do have all this control and they do have, like, are you going to make the right decision? Because a lot of people think we're overpaid. We are fucking underpaid. I don't care what anyone says. If you're overpaid, it's just because you sell a shit ton of homes and people think you're making too much money because you sold it quickly or whatever. They don't account for, have you guys ever been a transaction broker?
No.
Bro.
No.
Yeah.
Then
my own.
If you're a transaction broker, so you're basically like this mediator. If you ever do
Jesus
that,
Christ.
you'll understand why we're paid what we're paid.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
If sellers and buyers had to go and do their own deals, we'd sell 7 fucking houses a year in Colorado.
Absolutely,
bro. And just the emotions and just the legality of things that are involved, it's a nightmare. And let's just talk about, like, not everybody does luxury or high dollar. Let's talk about just first time home buyers or certain places where, hey, when a buyer agent meets someone, they might be 6 months away from being pre-approved, and you got to help them get credit repair.
Whole way.
You got to help them with that stuff.
And then they tell you, I'm moving to Houston.
Or they fuck up and they drop down a couple. But let's say that it works. Like, let's just go with the it works side.
Yeah.
Cool. So a couple months of credit repair, they kind of come and go. It drops down, it picks back up. Then they're good. Okay, cool. So your credit's fixed. Then we got to have a little bit of savings for inspections and earnest money and what little down payment you are going to have. You got to have that. Then we got to go look at 30 homes, right? And there's only so many like in your price range, but we got to look all over Colorado to find what works. Like, hey, this might be a 9-month client that you're going to make $4,200 on.
Yeah, divide that over 9 months.
So again, it's like there's just more to it. If you think that realtors are overpaid, either they just haven't built value in everything that they're doing, or you're just naive to the experience.
And everybody wants to be a broker.
Yeah,
I mean, even probably when we got in, like, man, I can do this because we're true sales guys. But like when people when they get in, that's why I love the broke agent. Shout out to the broke agent. I love his page, and
it's hilarious.
And you guys have chatted with him or whatever, but like it's so relevant.
Yep.
And the people that jump into this game because they want an easier, better life or whatever, and then the Friday night they're sitting there and they're like, I think I'm going to get sued.
Yeah, dude.
I think that they're going to keep the fucking earnest money.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen. They're crying on this phone and on this phone, and this guy's pissed.
Dude.
What am I going to do? And you're like,
for me,
you're not a psychiatrist?
Yeah.
Well, you better hurry up and learn and get your 10,000 hours.
A psychiatrist and you don't have a law degree? Yeah.
Well, and here's the deal. Hey, this is the most expensive purchases or sells in people's lives. The whole gray area of selling a membership, and they thought it came with all club and it only came with one club. That's not there anymore. Like, this is real shit. And for me, one thing that like resonated when I was going through like getting my real estate license is civil law, criminal law written the same. It's different, but the way they write it in the contracts, the way they write it into the book, the Colorado Revised Statute, I understood it. And one thing I really tried to like key in on was like, hey man, because I was a cop and like people are going to expect me to be sharp in this avenue. And I do understand a lot of the reading behind it. Hey, I'm going to be super sharp there. And I'm not, and that's where like, I'm not a salesman. I'm an advisor, not giving you legal advice, advising you on the contracts and articulating what the fuck this means. So we don't have that. And like, that's something that I felt like I did right on that one to really try to keep myself out of trouble and clients. And again, not giving you legal advice because it's illegal for us to give legal advice, but I'm going to articulate these fucking contracts. I'm going to explain what it means.
Yep.
And if you have any more questions, I guess you can contact your attorney, but we've done really well there as far as just letting people know up front what earnest money is, how you can keep it, how you can lose it, and just, but with volume, things do slip, dude, and it's a fucking hard game. And here's the thing, even you're not intentionally trying to get yourself or anybody else in trouble, but it fucking happens when you're doing volume, but the punishment or the penalty for that mistake, a lot higher than you sign somebody up for the wrong type of membership and they want an all club instead of one club, and they're losing their mind at the front desk. So you just click the all club button and it, cool, have a good day.
This is their livelihood.
So Alex, I've heard you mention a reset a couple times. I also know from following you on social that I've seen some boxing and shit lately. Talk to me a little bit about that. Does that have anything to do with the reset?
You know, the boxing for me was, you know, I was and I fought a lot as a kid, not because I was a bully or anything, but I always ended up in some weird, like almost self-defense or like, hey, don't bully that person, like a protector. Yeah. So I always found myself in some scuffle when I was young, and I went through some things in 2018 business-wise, and I got out of wickedly out of shape. Sure. I mean, like terribly out of shape.
Real estate, bro.
Yeah. And so I'm like, okay, I need to figure out what it's going to take to get into shape again. What am I going to focus on that's bigger than me, that's big enough? And I couldn't think of it. And I got a call from Haymakers for Hope. It's a charity that wanted me to sponsor their show. And I was like, well, are you guys looking for fighters? Yeah. And they were like, well, maybe. And I said, I bet you I could raise way more money if I was one of your fighters. Yeah. They go, cool. Okay, well, how much do you weigh with this, and this? Well, you'll fight heavyweight. I'm like, whatever, right? And and boxing, they have weight class for a reason. Yeah. Okay. So I go in for first couple sparring sessions. I'm with some big boys, you know, and yeah, I mean, heavyweight, you'll range anywhere from a little over 205, 210 pounds, all the way to like 250, 260. So there's really no boundary of like, you get in there and you're fighting a really big, you're at 210, 215, and you're punching on a guy that's 260.
Yeah.
That doesn't do anything to him. Yeah. And so I call the promoter and I'm like, hey, I can't fight at heavyweight, man. I'm taking some serious body shots and some I have a career.
What do I gotta do?
You know, I just don't think that the training is I'm not gonna be able to sustain the training.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Getting in there and fighting 3 2-minute rounds is nothing. Mm-hmm. The training that to prepare to fight is where you get beat up.
Yeah.
It's not in that night.
Yeah.
So there's been some fighters taking some beatings, but that night is you're in and out. But to prepare yourself or whatever, and so they go, okay, well then you need to go cruiserweight, which is like music to my ears, right? Because then I'm forced to cut weight.
So what was that cut off?
I was at 232 and I had to go down to 185.
Okay.
I'm sorry,
Jesus.
195.
Okay.
And so that's a lot.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
It was almost 40 pounds,
Yeah.
you know, so I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be incredible. I have to be disciplined. I have to eat right or eat nothing. And I have to train every day. I was getting like kind of loose, kind of, you know, soft around the midsection, drinking cocktails in the middle of the day with clients or whatever, eating like shit in my car all day, hustling, not focusing on my body as much.
Yep.
And so I'm like, this will be perfect, discipline. Fast forward, the training for fighting, I commend any combat athlete. Those aren't sports. You don't play that shit. I mean, I'm still sore. I still have injuries right now from that, and I wasn't not even close to professional.
Did you seek out a trainer? Did you have one already, or
yeah? I trained with a few different people, and it was amazing. Sparred a lot, which are, I don't care what anyone says, those are real fights.
Yeah.
Sparring matches are not. Everyone, I go 40%.
Bullshit.
Yeah, it's not.
It lasts until one person thinks they got a little bit harder.
Right in the face.
If somebody thinks, like, if Alex and I are sparring, right, and him and I are going at it, and for some reason I think Alex hit me 42% instead of 40.
You're going to 50.
I'm going to go 80 after his 42. But I'm going to pretend like it was 40.
You just go.
What? And then he's going to go 80. And before you know it, we're idiots.
Yeah. And who are the other competitors in the haymakers for Hope?
They're anything from old aspiring fighters to someone who's never even put gloves on before.
Yeah. Okay. So you don't know who it's going to be.
No. And leading into the fight, it was fantastic. A lot of great training, so much discipline, a lot of we talked about going without headphones and music. I went a lot. I went silent a lot. I trained in the silence a lot. I trained alone a lot. I ran alone. I didn't listen to music, nothing. I was really in my head, and it got me back to where I wanted to be mentally from 2018.
Just a fucking savage, man. And just to interject a little bit there, like when you weren't going into this fight to be a professional boxer. You weren't aspiring. So people need to understand, like, with their business, their personal life, their fitness, their relationship with themselves, physically and mentally. Anytime you're going to put yourself under, use something as a vehicle, especially to like better ourselves, you've got to at least, like, you don't have to have these super fancy romantic expectations and you get too tunnel vision and you're forcing something to be something that it's just not, but you do need to have some direction as far as like, what am I trying to accomplish by doing this in the first place with myself? And then when you're doing it, like when we did Diesel Day, right? Like I chose, I didn't use my headphones, like we went for 24 hours.
That sounds awful.
It was productive, right? It was.
Any injuries from that?
I'm just a bad motherfucker, Alex. I came out the next day stronger.
Yeah.
You did it too?
He did all 24 hours. I carried Eli on my back.
You'll be doing it before long, man. Promise.
Oh, yeah.
It sounds pretty incredible. It sounds like something.
Well, here's what's fun, man, is it's any fitness level at any capacity. So it's like, if you can't do pull-ups anymore, cool. Here's an exercise band. Here's an exercise band. Do pull-ups.
Figure it out. It's just
you did Fitness on the Rocks for how long? You can fucking do a Diesel Day.
I know. But that's why my body's so fucked up, man. Is like all these years of just massive extremes.
But hey, man, the assault bikes and the rowers and the hikes and it's hard. Like I don't want to like take anything away from you. It's fucking hard. And what I like about it is it's kind of like an AMRAP. I guess if that's the right thing.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Whether you explained to me, it was
whether it's the CrossFit Games guy or me, if I'm giving my 100%. At all times, I'm going to gain just as much as the guy who's better than me physically, giving his all. And by the way, some people that are physically better than you might not be physically or mentally better than you. Some people break, dude.
So
Period.
it's 24 hours.
24 hours
Yeah,
nonstop.
24. Yeah,
You eat on the go, active recovery.
See, and Tosh is so nice when he's putting on the event, man, that like if you like are like, hey, I need to go grab another headlamp from my tent, he will just have one for you, and you don't even need to run to your tent. You don't even need to take a fucking break to go do anything because he'll have whatever you need, and you can just do another lap on the trail
himself. You know, he gives you like a whole mission statement the night prior. You stay the night before the event.
Where is it?
It's in Boulder.
Yeah.
It's
on his property.
That's what you're saying.
Yep. So the night prior, he gives you a checking in with the left hand. He gives you his mission statement on how he processes, because he does the Badwater 240. He does this one in the middle of Montana in the middle of winter, where he has to hike like 120 or 160 miles in 60 hours. You have to pull your own sled by yourself in the dead of winter in Montana. And it's over the course of 60 hours straight, right? Like, just, he does gnarly stuff. Super successful guy in the Marine Corps. Crazy fitness advocate. He's the guy that puts him on.
Is this an annual thing?
No, it's it's like a monthly thing. It's about to be a monthly thing. Well, it's at his property. We're helping
Does he compete? Does he do it?
Dude,
he does the Badwater 240. It's 240 miles.
Yeah, he won't do the Diesel Day event. He's running it.
Okay.
Dude,
I was going to say he doesn't do that monthly.
No, he did Diesel Day for like 96 hours. That's what he's going for this winter. So he's going to do this. He's done one before called the Grit Check, where it's a similar event. And him and some athletes went as long as they could, and they went like 70 hours. But he thinks he can go like 100 hours now. Yeah. So he's going to do that for 100, not for 24. He's a monster.
And just such a fucking cowboy. He'll talk about doing some 200-mile race where the night before the event, he gets drunk with some other teammate. They're up till 5 in the morning.
I should have done that.
Drinking whiskey. Literally like drinking whiskey till 5 a.m. and then sleep for 45 minutes and then go start the 200-mile race.
Yeah, but it's a deliberate self-sabotage to make the next day harder.
So
he's fucking
challenges
smart.
himself.
Yeah,
I think it is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But with that being said, man, like, you know, you got to have some, you know, when I went into that, I didn't plan to, I brought headphones with me. But as everything started evolving, I just didn't want it. I wanted to, like, hey, what do you, because you go over your why and why you're there. Not your why in life, okay, fucking monk. It's not that, right? It's like, hey, we're here, and this is what we're doing for 24 hours. What's your why for the 24 hours? Why are you here? What are you trying to get out of it? And I knew, like, hey, whatever I'm here for, whatever challenges I'm going to face, I want to get back into that headspace of talking to myself, not distracting myself. I don't want to distract myself from pain. I don't want to distract myself from time. I want to feel pain and feel time and have those conversations in real time for 24 hours. And I didn't go there quite with that plan, but my why was to face some certain things with me.
Overcome the doubt, the fear.
And by facing that why, it led to me just choosing not to throw headphones on, and it was a benefit. Now, there's some other things that I could do better or had to work on, for sure. So anybody that did use headphones, not saying you should not have.
See, I was excited for let me try to phrase this so people don't get offended here. But I was excited when the quarantine and all this crazy shit happened because it disrupted.
We started a YouTube channel.
Easy games.
Yep,
Fuck yeah.
Like all these easy wins.
Thin the herd, man.
And all of a sudden I was like, wait, this is like, I'm used to this.
Yeah.
This is like my fucking stomping grounds. Like, this is what I like. And I was watching like chaos ensue and panic from brokers. And everyone, even on our own team.
Can we do showings? Can we not do showings?
Everything. Yeah. And I was like eating popcorn.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, and watching trends and watching the news, watching this, and I was like, oh, there's going to be, maybe I don't have to use Zillow anymore.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Maybe I'll be forced to tap into some resources that I've been
You're seeing opportunity.
Maybe too lazy to use because I've had this heroin needle in my arm called Zillow and all these internet leads of people wanting to do. Maybe I'm actually going to have to go grind.
You have a bigger network than I do.
And I was like, and then all of a sudden it was like, nope.
It's still
real
there.
estate's booming. And so it was kind of like I didn't need, and I was like, do I pull the cards now? And so it was really exciting for me, and I think that's what kind of inspired like another reset, right? Everyone had time to sit in. You guys started your YouTube channel. People got out of real estate. People started companies. People got in shape. I mean, it was like you kind of watch like
and a lot of
the
people
hustlers
did nothing.
hustle.
Yeah, the hustlers
right?
hustle.
And you're like, oh, okay. And the world is on fire. I mean, literally. I mean, there's shit going on, and here we are in this bubble in Denver, and everyone's seeking high ground. So everyone's still coming to Denver. You've got people from Florida, people from Austin, you know, Dallas.
During the quarantine,
California.
we started our YouTube channel. How can we get more content to people at scale when they can't necessarily see us in person? How can we funnel that? Well, we get 5-6 calls a day from YouTube, and they're coming from all as far as Australia. people that call us. And you want to talk about a serious buyer, somebody who's calls you from your videos and plans a vacation to come see Denver to start looking at areas because they're buying, talking to you. Yeah. You want to talk about a serious buyer? Right. Yeah. But there's a lot of professionalism that goes into that. You can't just be fucking off making rap videos as a realtor and thinking that people are going to trust you with their business. Yeah, yeah. Not saying don't do that. I'm just not a fan of it. I love being entertaining. I love being myself, but I have to maintain a certain level of professionalism because I can't forget that as much as I want to put pom-poms on and do a rap video by Little Man Ice Cream, people are making their most expensive purchase with me. And it's not my job to be funny or force funny. It's my job to be an advocate for them and to entertain them as much as I can with the personality I have to expose them to Denver while letting them still trust the fact that I can still be trustworthy with the transaction. And that's where I think some of it, and it's nothing against the videos. I'm not speaking about any one video specifically because there's a ton of realtors doing it. I just don't know why they choose to force themselves to try to be funny. And then and we see it, dude, and I'm like, hey,
and I get tired too.
What are you doing?
I was joking about before of like which hat you're putting on. Real estate, I think, gives you this false reality of like you have to be someone else because you're selling such a big product,
and you see everyone else doing that.
Yeah,
so you think, well, when I get into it, I need to be someone else.
Right. You got to figure out what your tools are and how do you fit. Don't make real estate fit you. How do you fit into real estate? Is what I talk to people about. And you and I couldn't be more of a great example because you are phenomenally dressed and you've got phenomenal suits when you go out and you're doing your thing. And I wear T-shirts and tattoos, but both successful in what we do. And it just comes down to like, hey, man, when I was putting on a suit, I looked like a goddamn CIA agent, right? And like people knew my military background and my contract background. And when I was going into buyer prezos or listing prezos, it was almost a little intimidating, and there was a layer there. And I finally had a friend one time, man. I'm showing him a house, and he saw it last minute. Hey, can I see it? I go, cool, man. I was at like a pumpkin patch or something, right? Like, let me drop the family off, and I'm gonna roll. And that's what, hey, grind mode, right? Hey, yeah, this place sucks. Let's leave. I got a deal to do, right? Let's bounce, right? Get the kids ice cream on the way home. And I show up in jeans and a flannel, nicely dressed, but I'm at a pumpkin patch, right? And he's like, oh, it's about time. And I go, thinking time, like, I ain't late. He's like, nah, dude, like you took the suit off. Like, you don't got to do that for me, bro. Like, you're making me nervous. Thought you're going to shoot me. I go,
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, you know,
I've had that too.
And you also have a network. My network was very blue collar, right? Whether even when I was helping in the fitness world, I was not dressed in like suits and stuff. So, and then when people knew my background, or if I met someone at the gym, dude, my first year of real estate, I did 7 deals out of the gym. Imagine seeing them in the gym and having great conversations. I show up at their house, I'm in a suit. It's like, what are you trying to pull? Now you look like you're forcing a sales conversation and like, oh, he's trying to pull a fast one on me. No, I'm not. I'm just trying to be what I think. Versus like, hey man, here's the what people know me from. Here's how they're more comfortable around me. Take your ego out of it. Just, hey, you recognize how your appearance matters. And I'm not saying wear a suit. Don't wear. I'm saying you've got to be comfortable in your environment. You better be professional and know your shit, because it doesn't matter what you're wearing. If you don't understand what you're doing in real estate, people are around you long enough in a transaction to realize you're full of shit. So don't be full of shit. But then just be aware. Like, just pay attention to the atmospherics of where you're doing your buys and sells and what people are attracted and not attracted to, and if they're standoffish, if there's a layer, if there's not. And for me, man, when I first got to real estate, dude, my ties were legit, dude. Like, from the military side, when you had to wear dress blues or your service alphas and tie a tie, bro, my double Windsor is a killer. It's a kill. And hey, I was wearing nice clothes, right? The bottom line was it was limiting me with the immediate space that I had. So I still dressed nice, and I put on some button downs or some flannels and some jeans, and I was appropriate. But for whatever reason, because of my prior careers, whatever it was, like, people were more comfortable with me in that environment when I was dressed that way versus when I had a suit on. It's almost like my impression at 248 in a suit, like looking like that, it looked like I was supposed to have an earpiece in, and I was sent to kill you, right? Like, I don't want that. I'm trying to help you sell your house. It was too much of an impression. And that's when I was like, you know what? If I ever put suits on, I better be 205. Because this size is just too much, man. And people just knew me from a different space, you know, like, all right. And then I paid attention to that. 5 deals. Boom. And then you go, hold on a minute. And you keep testing. And before you know it, it's like, hey, you know what, man? Like, still have clean clothes and smell good and comb what little hair you have and be professional. but maybe just that is just too, and all good. But this is, again, like, this is where people have to, like, stop looking at a system, stop looking at a machine, stop looking at an industry and trying to fit into that. Because if you're trying to fit in, you're going to be a dime a dozen. If you figure out how that applies to who you are, you'll do well and you'll be unique, right? Because you wear what you wear, but you're still unique because you're still Alex and you're comfortable in your own skin. I'm unique wearing something completely different, but I'm comfortable in my own skin, in my sphere, or whoever I help, my audience is comfortable with that. And I think your audience is comfortable with yours. And I think that's such a huge point, man, for entrepreneurs, and just, man, like, you don't have to fit in.
Yeah.
Figure out how that applies to you. But I think even a guy as confident as I am, when you dive into something new, I think subconsciously you somewhat do try to fit in, to put your feelers out, to just figure out what's real, what's not real, what works for you, what doesn't work for you. And you do have to kind of test the waters, but it's just important to have those resets, or just kind of pay attention to the micros that you're doing and whether it's working for you or not working for you. And that one, for some reason, it just wasn't the best fit. And I adjusted. And it was just a lot more successful. You know, I think it's huge.
So Alex,
that's the big one.
I feel like you're on kind of your next phase, man, or at least your next phase of discovery. So you hit the boxing thing. You're trying to get off the needle. You're talking about luxury real estate.
The Zillow needle.
The Zillow needle. Yeah.
We're being metaphoric here.
Yeah. Thanks for clarifying. He was just tuning in now. He is not a heroin addict. Yes. Zillow is heroin. So you're talking. It just sounds like you're in this new phase of discovery and regrowth. And what does that look like for you? What's coming up on the horizon, man? It may not,
No, I'm excited, and I haven't been excited in a while, because I've always wanted to bring a bunch of people with me.
Yeah.
And I've always wanted to grow big teams and be the guy at the end of the conference table and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And what I've realized through all these journeys is, you definitely want to keep the people around you that help get you where you need to go, and you need to network. That's why when you called me, I'm like, yes, like, this is something I've been wanting to do. You need to connect with these guys. They're on a higher frequency than most people I talk to. Let's get after it, And so that's more of, I'll put the growing the team aside, and you think, like, it is corny, as cliche, and as fucked up as even we joke about, like, what's your why, right? Like, but you really need that.
Yeah.
What is it?
And you have to understand it evolves and it grows. And
right.
Like, when people say, not to cut you off, when people say, my why is helping people, cool. I'm for that. It's a blanket statement.
Of course.
And let's say that is true, because I love influencing and helping people as well. However, there's going to be some specifics to that and how you approach helping people and what helping people looks like. That's going to be constantly evolving within this umbrella of your why. And you've got to pay attention to that, because as it evolves, there might be changes.
Well, that and I think we can all agree and argue with the fact of, like, people go, well, if you don't love real estate, how can you do it? Like, you got to love it.
Well, I'm glad you said that. I'm going to cut you off again.
Yeah.
Because I would go, hey, great, man, what's real estate? I'll tell you what real estate is. I had a girl selling her house. We did it for 1%, right? I'm not going to mention any names. It's not my business. She had a recently divorced, going through a divorce process, Marine Corps combat veteran husband, having some hard times with that, commit suicide. She's got 2 kids. We sell it for 1% without question. I'd have sold it for free. All she was concerned about was, and he didn't do it in the home, all good, but she wanted to not be in that home.
Yep.
She needed a new home, and she was concerned about what's my 2 kids' future without their dad look like? And I have no idea what that feels like. Here's what I did feel. I don't want that to be the last memory of the Marine Corps for you. I'm a Marine Corps veteran, right? Like, hey, I'm here to, like, try the best I can to ice that bruise that you just got and do all I can to ease your stress and take you through a process. She just bought her first investment home a month ago. Fucking cool, right?
It is.
She made it out. She netted her money. I don't need your money. I need you to be in a good place and feel like you're gonna be okay with your kiddos, and you're gonna think Will and Eli did a great job for you, right? Well, she bought her first investment home with us. Phenomenal, right? Hey, you make some coin on that. More importantly, though, like, I can't even imagine what that feels like for you. And I just want to do whatever I can to take what little bit of pain away, if possible, to just help the representation of the Marine Corps, and then just be a good human. And that's where I get back to, like, doing the right thing is always the right thing. So cool. So what's real estate? Because if you're going to talk to me about bricks and drywall, you're fucking wrong.
Yeah, that's not it.
If you're going to talk to me about updated kitchens and you just love that shit, you're superficial.
Yeah. That's not
You
it.
meet people at their best in real estate, and first-time home buyers, and they're married, and that's a lot of awesome stuff, and you can't wait to help them. There's also people in real estate where they're selling a home or they're having to buy another one, not because of best circumstances.
No, most of the time it's not.
It's not. So it's like, man.
Most of the
So when
time.
people are like, oh, if you don't love real estate, like, hey, cool, I'm going to stop you right there before I notionally punch you in your mouth because I know where you're going. If you think that's real estate and versus real estate actually being relationships and helping people through super big life chapters, you're wrong. Don't even talk to me.
No.
Right?
No, and I think you need to get out of that headspace of like, do you love what you do? Like, you look at the Kevin Harts and the Jim Carrey, everyone that I've like kind of mentioned, it's like they only go on stage for an hour. Mm-hmm. What the fuck went into getting you on stage for that hour?
Right.
Did you love that process?
Nope.
And so
Remember the future.
Yeah, and so to me, it's like I had to kind of get out of, because I started to fall out of, like, I didn't love the art of the deal. I didn't like the hour and a half conversation from 9 to 10:30, talking over and over and over about what happens if your inspection did it. Yeah. I started to like, it started to kind of beat me up, and I'm
monotonous
going, and then I go, you know, then all of a sudden, very recently, my wife and I go look at a home together, and we weren't even really thinking about selling or doing anything, and she was like, "This is my dream home. Mm-hmm. I want to make this happen."
Where was it at?
And it's on 7th and Ivanhoe, like right in Montclair or Mayfairish area over there. And it's beautiful, and it really, I mean, like, kind of, I mean, it was like, whoa, but it was very expensive. Yeah. And I'm like, all right, I have to make some moves here. And it was like, I'm like, oh shit, I got to do this, and this, and this, and this. I have to sell this more. I got to do that. And it kind of excited me again because I was now trying to like make my family happy. Then I started thinking of like, oh, real estate is just this platform.
It's a vehicle.
Yeah. It's just this ecosystem that if you're talented enough to like stay in and perform at a high level, it can open up all these other doors for you over here, you know. And so that's why I wanted to move out all of my distractions, and I want to focus on like great clients. I don't care if it's a $250,000 client. I don't need to be a luxury broker. I don't care if it's a $250,000 client or a $10 million client. But if I can give you my everything and not have to hear any more noise, and I can just focus on you, I can do this at the highest level. I can probably be one of the best brokers in Colorado if I do just that. But I can't. I literally, I have such bad ADD, and I'm a serial entrepreneur. And I like when you were talking to me about all the shit you're doing outside, I was just getting anxiety. Like, fuck, I can't even think about all that stuff.
You know, I do that on purpose, right? You know, I'm trying to drag you into my shit.
I
right?
know. And so I'm like, but I've hit this point of like that back to manifestation. I'm just hyper focusing for a bigger and my kids and my wife and our future is like, that's the real deal. Like, that's the pool that I want to swim in forever. I want to be able to go, you know, and yes, I'm going to have to answer the phone all the fucking time. Yes, I'm going to have to work all the time. Yes, I'm going to have to do this. But I need to get a little bit more control of my life, set some boundaries with my clients. And now that I'm a professional, say, this is how I work. So if you want to work with me, this is what I do. This is how I do things. This is what I make when I'm selling your house. This is what I make when I'm helping you buy. This is how I do it. This is what you do. If you want to listen to me, this is my process. Do you want to work together? And if I'm getting text messages right now from a client that's multi-million-dollar client that I'm like, I should probably fire this person. Why? Because I don't fucking think you want to buy a home. Because I've had this deal in front of you for 2 or 3 days, and you're hitting me with bullshit. So I'm probably just going to call you right after this podcast and go, hey, Mr. So-and-so, Mrs. So-and-so, I love you. And I've been helping you for free since April. And I've shown you easily 35 to 40 multi-million-dollar homes. And you know what? I don't think that you really want to do this.
And you know what, man,
and the next person will come and they'll hit the jackpot. Because the very next home they'll see, this is it, and they do it. Maybe. Or
maybe they're toxic for the next 3 years. You have no idea what's going on. And you're not firing you're not firing them caring about if one person shows them one house and gets the deal. If you're caring about it, then you're staying there or firing them for the wrong reasons. It's more about your peace of mind and just how you set expectations and the advisor role. And I think it's because we were talking, you know, prior to air, and I'm not going to air anything out, but I think it's not only that you've been helping them for a while, it's how they choose to speak to you and the behavior, right? Like, hey, I'm not a subordinate. And I'm not your punching bag, right? Like there's definitely like expectations with that, and that's where him and I kind of get to with different endeavors and what we're exposing to, and obviously I love picking your brain because like you're a little bit older than me. We're from the same neighborhood. 2 white boys from there is not true. People wouldn't even believe us.
No,
but it happened, and
I want to tell my story one day, but I'm like, I wonder how rich you have to be to actually tell this story.
A lot richer than we are. But it's fun because the second you showed up at my house, what was the first thing I said to you? I go, hey, look at it.
Yeah.
A little bit better than your couch, right?
Better than your couch.
Because we're just very similar with like how we see and what we want for our future and our family. Eli's very similar, man. We have a lot of those brainstorms and those talks constantly, you know, and I'm also like manifesting because I'm like, all right, Alex is like the plow that has to find out all the wrong ways to do shit so I don't, because he's a little bit older than me. And his wife's Asian. Oh, my wife's Asian. Oh, his kids are half white. Oh, my kids are half white. Oh, he had a girl first. He has an older daughter and a son. Oh, I have an older daughter. And suddenly, like, oh, cool. This is like an omen.
Yeah.
I'm just holding Alex out as like a candle in front of me.
You
to
run
just
through it.
Light the fucking hallway.
Run through it. Yeah. Is it hot in there?
Yeah.
I got burned.
Awesome.
No,
That's
man.
awesome.
I think it's awesome. And I know we've been keeping you for a while, man. But is there anything else, you know, as far as like where you're at in real time that you'd like to give the entrepreneurs out there?
I think if you're listening, you got to kind of, you know, avoid the bullshit of like, oh, do what you love, blah blah blah. Do what you're good at. Play into your skills. Mm-hmm. What are you good at, and own it.
You'll love it.
And own what you're good at. So I'm a great salesperson. Yeah. I'm not a great business owner. Mm-hmm. I'm too nice. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Don't fucking fire him. Why? Because he's funny.
Yeah.
You know, I'm way too nice. You know, and so. But I'm really hard on myself. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I'm a great business owner when I'm owning myself.
Sure.
When I have all these people, I'm really I find the love in everybody. Yeah. So so owning what you're good at and just saying, if you're a great salesperson, just sell something that's going to pay you. Mm-hmm. So you're still mastering your craft, you're still growing, you're still evolving. Just sell something that's actually going to pay you so that you can make a living. And then go find somebody that's really good at managing money to manage your money. Yeah. Go find someone else that likes to grow businesses, maybe help you grow businesses, and start surrounding yourself with people that are really good at doing the shit that you're not good at doing, and just own that you're not good at doing that shit. Yeah, I'm not good at being goalie, bro. They score every time, but I'm really fast.
Yeah.
You know, like just own it. Yeah. And it took me a long time just recently, and talking to a good friend of like, God, we're just really fucking good salespeople. Mm-hmm. Let's just do that and ball out and take care of our families, take care of our clients, and just kind of see where it goes over the next 24 months. So let's do 2 years of just hyper focus, and don't get distracted by any of the big shiny things. Mm-hmm. Let's just go client by client by past client, and just keep this linear run and see where it goes, and just be really smart if you get a check that's 45 grand, just don't be an asshole. Yeah. You know, you can do a lot with that. Yeah. But not really. Yeah, it goes away very quickly. I mean, we all know in here you can blow dough like oh my god. Yep. You know, and so it's like, okay, we're getting this golden opportunity to be in Denver, to be in real estate, and if you're talented enough to actually do it at a high level, don't let anything else distract you, because we might only have a couple more years of this shit anyway before something happens.
And something that works for me, we're diving into it right now. Have you heard of 75 Hard? Mm-mm. It's from Andy.
How the hell have you not heard about 75 Hard?
I mean, really? I probably have. I just didn't retain it.
We'll show it to you after. We'll show it to you after air. But it's Andy Frisella from First Form. You know, he created this thing about like a mental toughness where for 75 days you drink a gallon of water, you do 2 45-minute workouts a day. They have to be separated. You read 10 pages from a book a day. No sugar. No alcohol.
Sounds like something I've drafted and didn't execute.
Yep. Well, we did Diesel Day. Him and I did the Diesel Day where it was 24 hours nonstop. I drug his punk ass into that. So now, you know, hey, I'm going to volunteer myself to just drag myself into his 75 Hard. But
are you doing that?
Yeah, we're going to do it. We're starting. Yeah. So you should do it. We'll talk to you off air about it. But my point is, and I'm sure like you subconsciously do this. I'm now aware that I'm doing it. So I want to really like dial it in. Everything coincides together in life. I'm me. I'm not me at work. I'm not me at home, and then I'm a husband, but then I'm also a dad, and I'm also this business guy, and they're all different people. Like, as much as you'd like to make it that, it's not. You're still you. And for me, like, we've got some money going out. We've got some extraordinary business opportunities that we're diving into, and hey, my checking account's a little lower than I would like it, right, to be where it needs to be. So cool, we're in this like savage mode. We're scaling in business right now, and there's some cool stuff that we're chasing down, and like, yeah, it feels fucking good. But I can't be like this lion and this savage at work going after that, but I'm a koala bear at home. Like, everything coincides together. So if I've got this savage mode within business, I've got to find something in my personal life that keeps me hard and keeps me savage, so it feeds into it, right? So hence the 75 hard or the diesel days. And like, dude, I'm old school right now, eating like, the tuna packets. I throw a little bit of, throw a little bit of mustard in there with wheat thins. That's lunch. And it's like, it's not fun.
No.
But it's hardening my mind, and every time I eat a meal I don't want to eat, but it's healthy, it's reminding me of like, oh, I'm doing this.
After a while, though, you start feeling the fuel. You can feel it almost instantly.
But dude, I'm like feeling the savage way of eating, and doing the 75 hard is a constant reminder of the mode our business, the gear our business is in right now. And it keeps everything consistently
Let me know.
at that, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, we'll talk about it. Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll get you
Oh,
on
you're
board.
in. Oh, you're fucking in.
Get you on board.
You're fucking in.
much
But do you see
accountability
what I'm
as
saying?
possible.
Like, if I approach my fitness and my diet, if I'm going to grind there, that builds momentum, and it keeps my mind consistently in a grind with work, versus I'm at home eating junk, watching movies, taking some time off, and then I'm going to expect myself to get up every morning and cold start the grind. Fuck you. I'm just going to grind. I'm going to ride this fucker till the bearings blow. I need that. So hence the 24-hour diesel day, hence the 75 hard, hence the not so fun meals. It's a great momentum builder, and I think people should maybe dive into that.
Yeah, man, I'm all for it. Let me know.
It's been a pleasure having you on, man.
Man,
Yeah,
my
bro.
mans.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, dude.
Truly.
Yeah.
You could be on this whenever you want, man.
Man, you let me know.
for
It's
real,
fun.
for real.
Yeah.
That's about it, guys. When are we back, Will?
Who knows? Friday. We're back Friday. We'll have another
Great
episode
answer.
or whatnot.
Yeah,
not a
great
lot
answer.
going on, but yeah, everybody out there, appreciate the support and you guys watching. And until next time, we will holler at you later.
Peace.
That's right. We'll see you guys. Thanks for
Out.
listening.
Exemptions are needed. Spit cup is insane and the team is completed. Switch it lane to lane with the top receipt. I mean it. Check this.